Today we'll discuss about the yesterday's NEET paper solutions. Regarding the question paper, the standard of the paper is just average level paper. It is not too tough, it is not too easy also. It's a moderate level paper. An above average students can score out of 180, 100 marks is a good mark in this paper. Coming to the questions that appeared in this NEET examination, if you see here, the first question is like this. A series LCR circuit is connected to an AC voltage source. So they have given LCR series circuit and it is connected to which kind of source? AC voltage source. When L is removed from the circuit, from the LCR series circuit, if you remove the inductor, then it becomes a CR circuit. Yes sir. The phase difference between current and voltage is pi by 3. So for the CR circuit, the phase difference is given as pi by 3. If instead C is removed from the circuit, instead of removing the inductor, if you remove the capacitor, then it becomes which circuit? Removing the inductor, it becomes CR circuit. Removing the capacitor, it will become in the LR circuit. Is it clear or not? So, in both the cases, that is for CR circuit as well as for the LR circuit, the phase difference is same, which is equal to pi by 3 they have given. From that, what we are able to calculate here? They are asking us to calculate the power factor of the circuit. Power factor formula is known for us, which is one of the most important derivation that we have done. What is the power factor formula? Cos phi is equal to R by Z is the power factor. Yes sir. What is the power factor formula? Cos phi is equal to R by Z. Now, you see here, they have given for LR circuit and for CR circuit. We know that tan phi is equal to what for LR circuit? Tan phi is equal to what is the formula we are having? Tan phi is equal to chi L divided by R, that is equal to chi C divided by R, I can say. Yes sir. Is it clear or not? So from this one, what I can say? They have given first case chi L by R. Chi L is nothing but omega L divided by R. That is equal to tan phi. Phi is given as pi by 3. Phase is given as pi by 3. From this, what I can say? If you see here, omega L by R is equal to how much we will be having? 1 by root 3. Similarly, they have given that 1 by omega CR. This if I consider chi C by R. That is pi by 3 they have given pi by 3 is nothing but 60. Tan 60 is equal to how much you will be having? Root 3. Now, chi C by R is what? Chi C is nothing but 1 by omega C divided by R. That is equal to how much they have given. Again, tan phi they have given. That is tan pi by 3. This implies 1 by omega CR is equal to how much? Root 3. If you consider this and this, what we are understanding? From 1 and 2, I can say that from equation 1 and equation 2. From equation 1 and equation 2, this is root 3, this is root 3. Therefore, omega L by R is equal to 1 by omega CR. From this, I can say that omega square is equal to 1 by LC. Implies omega is equal to 1 by root LC. This is a condition for resonance. At resonance, power factor is equal to 1. At resonance, R is equal to Z. Power factor is nothing but cos phi. Cos phi is equal to R by Z. And this is a condition for resonance. At resonance, R is equal to Z. R is equal to Z means R by R, which is equal to 1. So power factor is equal to 1. This is the answer for the first question. Now we will see the second question. See the second question. A wire of length L, area of cross section A, is hanging from a fixed support. The length of the wire changes to L1 when mass M is suspended from its free end. The expression for Young's modulus is, they are asking us to calculate the expression for Young's modulus. Commonly expected question this is. So, here if you see, they have given that there is a wire of length. There is a wire of length how much? L. And for that wire they have suspended a mass, capital M. The area of cross section of the wire is given as capital A. They are asking us to calculate the Young's modulus of the wire. Yes or? So let me choose this is a wire whose length is equal to L. The initial length of the wire is equal to L. Now I suspended a mass for this. Due to this mass, there is a weight acting on it. Due to that weight, the wire is going to extend. The final length of this wire is given. Let us consider this is the final length of the wire. The final length of the wire is given as L1. So initial length is known, final length is known. Final length is given as how much? L1 they have given. So what is the change in length or what is elongation? Elongation delta L is equal to final length L1 minus initial length L. Sorry, what is the area of cross section given? A. So what is the force acting on the wire? mg is the force acting on the wire. Now they are asking us to calculate what? Young's modulus. We know that Young's modulus is equal to what? Young's modulus is equal to stress by strain or force acting per unit area divided by change in length by original length is the formula. According to this, Young's modulus is equal to force is mg, area is given as A only, this L goes up, this delta L is nothing but L1 minus L. So this will be the right answer. Okay, so we'll go with the next question. See the next question. So here what is the right answer? mgl divided by A into L1 minus L. This is the right answer. So next third question is see. A long solenoid of 50 centimeter length. They have specified it is a long solenoid. So you have to consider it as an infinite length solenoid. So a long solenoid of 50 centimeter length having 100 turns carries a current of 2.5 ampere. The magnetic field at the center of the solenoid they are asking. The magnetic field at the center of the solenoid is the question. See here. What is the magnetic field at the center of the solenoid? It is also a basic formula related question. Now see. Now if you see the magnetic field inside the solenoid is given by which formula? Mu naught L is the formula for calculating magnetic field well inside the solenoid, provided it is infinite long solenoid. So here mu naught is known for us. What is N here? Number of turns per unit length. This can be written as mu naught into capital N divided by length into current. What are given here? Number of turns is given as how much? 500 turns they have given. Length is given as 50 centimeter. 50 into 10 power minus 2 meter. Yes sir. 100 turns they have given. Okay, sorry. They have given 100 turns. Length is given as number of turns is given as 100 and length is given as 50 centimeter. Therefore 50 into 10 power minus 2 meter. Current is given as 2.5 ampere. Now if I substitute in this formula, B is equal to mu naught means 4 pi into 10 power minus 7. Mu naught is 4 pi into 10 power minus 7. Capital N is given as 100 divided by 50 into 10 to the power of minus 2 and this is 2.5 we are having. This if you see here 5 goes here 0.5 times. 0.5 means 1 by 2. 2 goes here 2 times. Therefore 2 pi. 2 into pi means pi is 3.14. 2 into 3.14 is 6.28. 6.28 into 10 power minus 7 into 10 power 2 is 10 power minus 5. 10 power minus 5 by 10 power minus 2 is 10 power minus 3. 10 power minus 3 here into 10 is there. This goes up 10 power minus 2. 10 power minus 4 is there. By 10 is there. 10 power minus 4. So what is the unit for magnetic field? Tesla. This will be the right answer. Next question. So the answer is 6.28 into 10 power minus 4 Tesla is the right answer. Now let us go for the next one. A ray is incident at an angle of incidence I on one surface of a small angle prism. They have mentioned it as small angle prism. With angle of prism being capital A. And emerges normally from the opposite surface. If the refractive index of material of the prism is mu, then the angle of incidence is nearly equal to. Angle of incidence is nearly equal to. What they have given? They have given a prism whose angle is A and it is a small angle prism. It is incident at some angle and it is coming out normally from the second interface. Okay. Now look here. There is a small angle prism. There is a small angle prism. A prism whose angle is less than or equal to 7 degrees is said to be a small angle prism. A light ray is incident like this at some angle of incidence. Let us consider this is the normal line. This is the angle of incidence. It is coming out normally from the second interface. So for this one I2 is equal to 0. For normal emergence, I do 0. R2 is also 0. This is R1. So we know that A is equal to R1 plus R2. Yes, sir. I can write it as this. If I take it as I1, then what I can say? This implies A is equal to R1 plus 0, or R1 is equal to A, I can say. I know that mu is equal to sin A by sin R. For small angle prism, I by R. Yes, sir. So I1 by R1. I1 by R1. This implies I1 is equal to mu into R1. What is R1 here? R1 is nothing but A. So mu into A. This is the right answer. Okay. Next question. So for this one, what is the angle of incidence? Mu into A is the answer. Now, see the next question here. Okay. So mu into A is the answer for this question. Next fifth question you see. In a certain region of space with volume 0.2 meter cube, the electric potential is found to be 5 volt throughout. The magnitude of electric field in this region is. Out of all these questions in NEET paper, this is a good model question, where majority of the students, even a brighter student, will commit a mistake. So, in a certain region of space with volume 0.2 meter cube, the electric potential is found to be 5 volt throughout. Throughout the region, the potential is constant. So, what kind of region it is? Equipotential. If the surface is equipotential, their electric field is how much is the question. The magnitude of electric field in this region they are asking. Whenever the potential is same between 2 points, then the potential difference becomes 0. If potential difference is 0, electric field intensity will be 0. Okay. So simply I can tell like this mathematically. So we know that E is equal to minus delta V divided by delta R. So V being constant, V is equal to constant implies delta V is equal to 0. Delta V 0 means 0 by something is 0. Therefore, intensity becomes 0. Simply to confuse the students, they have given volume as 0.2 meter cube. It is of no use here. Okay, next question. Next question you see. Question number 6. For which of the following Bohr's model is not valid? You know the limitations of Bohr's atomic model. It is applicable only for the hydrogen atoms and hydrogen-like atoms, or it is not applicable for multiple electron systems. It is applicable for single electron systems. So here, singly ionized helium, it is a single electron system. Deuteron 1H2, single electron system, and hydrogen atom is also single electron system. So which is not the single electron system here? In the given options, neon. It is not a single electron system, so that is a wrong answer. Next, theoretical question that is. Next, 7th one. Light with average flux of 20 watt per centimeter square. Light with average flux of 20 watt per centimeter square falls on a reflecting surface at normal incidence, having surface area 20 centimeter square. The energy received by the surface during this time span of 1 minute is. See here, let us consider this is a surface. Let us consider this is a surface. Okay, sir. Close. So here, this is the surface. On this surface, light is falling like this. Light is falling like this. Intensity of the light falling is. Intensity is nothing but energy per unit area per unit time. This is given as 20 watt per centimeter square. And here it is the surface area is given as how much? A is given as 20 centimeter square. They have given, I think so. Yes. A is equal to 20 centimeter square. They have given. And intensity is given as 20 watt per centimeter square. Now, it is incident on the surface and the surface is completely absorbing it. It is not reflecting any of the energy that is falling. What is the energy absorbed by this surface over a time period of 1 minute? 1 minute in the sense 60 seconds duration. Then, according to this one, what I can say? Energy divided by, energy is equal to what? Energy is equal to 20 into 80. 20 into 80, that is nothing but 20 into 20 centimeter square into T is 60. What is this? 2 2s are 4, 4 6s are 24. 24 into 10 to the power of 3. This problem is skipped by one of our best students. So 240 into 10 to the power of 3. What is our unit for this one? Energy is joules. That is the answer. Next. Next one. An electron is accelerated from rest through a potential difference of V volt. 8th question is here. An electron is accelerated from rest through a potential difference of V volt. If the de Broglie wavelength is 1.227 into 10 power minus 2 nanometer, the potential difference is. It's the most common and standard question that every time appears in the competitive level of exam. We discussed one formula for calculating the lambda, calculating the de Broglie wavelength. So de Broglie wavelength lambda is equal to 12.27 divided by root V. Suppose V is the accelerating voltage. Suppose V is the accelerating voltage, then wavelength of that de Broglie wave is equal to 12.27 divided by root V in terms of angstroms. They have given the wavelength as how much? 1.227 nanometer. 1.227 nanometer. Nano in the sense 10 power minus 9. This is given as de Broglie wavelength. And this is 12.27 into 10 to the power of minus 10 divided by root V. They asked us to calculate the accelerating potential. That is the question. So from this one, I can write it as 12.27 into 10 to the power of minus 10 is equal to 12.27 into 10 to the power of minus 10 divided by root V. Yes, sir. This and this will cancel. Yes, sir. Sorry, somewhere minus 8. This is how much you will be having? 10 power
minus 8.
Minus. This is how much you will be having? 12 point we are taking now. Multiply with 10 and divide with 10. Then once again repeat the questions. Show me that question, sir. So what is the question now then? Sorry. Here into 10 power minus 2 nanometer is there. So into 10 power minus 2 is there. So into 10 power minus 2. Okay. So into 10 power minus 2 is there here. If this 10 power minus 2 comes this side, then you will be having root V is equal to 10 power plus 2. Implies V is equal to 10 power 4 volt. So they have given lambda is equal to 1.227 into 10 power minus 2 nanometer they have given. So into 10 power minus 2 is there in the given question. So 10 power minus 2 goes that side, becomes 10 power plus 2. So root V is equal to 10 power plus 2, V is equal to 10 power 4. Okay, next question. See the next question, 9th one. So 9th one is the most commonly asked question and most important from the gravitation topic, and the same question with the same numerical I have repeated many number of times. A body weighs 72 Newton on the surface of the earth. What is the gravitational force on it at a height equal to half the radius of the earth? So at a height they are asking, variation of G with altitude is given by the formula GH is equal to G into 1 minus 2H by R. Most of the students will use this formula, but you should not use this formula. This is only a special formula, I told you many times. This formula is applicable only for H far less than radius. But they have told that what is the gravitational force on it at a height equal to half the radius. Does half the radius is negligible compared with the radius of the earth? No. So we should not use this formula. Let us go with the general case. We know that G is equal to Gm by R plus H whole square. Yes sir, this is the general formula. So GH formula. So according to this one, GH is equal to Gm divided by R plus H is given as half of the radius of earth. So what is the general formula we need to take? GH is equal to Gm by, at some altitude, R plus H whole square I need to take. So I can write it as, they have given height is equal to how much? Height is equal to half the radius. Therefore R by 2 whole square. So this is Gm divided by R plus R by 2 is 3R by 2. 3R by 2 whole square. 3R by 2 whole square. This is 3 by 2 whole square is 9 by 4. 4 goes up. 4 by 9 into Gm by R square. Gm by R square is nothing but acceleration due to gravity on the surface of the earth. Yes or no? This is GH. So what is the weight? M into GH is equal to 4 by 9 into m into g. They have given mg is equal to how much? 72 Newton. On the surface of the earth, mg is given as 72 Newton. This goes here how many times? 6 times. How many times? 8 times. 8 fours are 32. 32 Newton is the answer. The weight is 32 Newton. Okay, that will be your right answer. Or directly you can use the formula GH is equal to G divided by 1 plus H by R whole square, which I told you to remember. This is the formula that we need to remember with respect to altitude. Okay, next question is question number 10. Which of the following graph represents the variation of resistivity with the temperature T of copper? Copper is a metal, you know it. And for the copper, with increase in temperature, copper is a metal, with increase in the temperature, resistivity and resistance both will increase. And it will increase according to this graph. It is not a linear graph, it will increase according to this graph. So, variation of resistivity with temperature for copper metal, it is there in your NCERT textbook. This graph is there in your NCERT textbook. Variation of variation of resistivity with temperature for the copper. It is like this. This is the graph. Variation of resistivity versus temperature. For copper metal, it is like this. Okay. And for most of the other metals, we will be having a linear graph. Next. 11th question. Light of frequency 1.5 times the threshold frequency is incident on a photosensitive material. Light of frequency 1.5 times the threshold frequency is incident on the photosensitive metal. What will be the photocurrent if the frequency is half, then intensity is double? Now look here. Once. Let us consider threshold frequency is equal to mu naught. If the frequency is less than threshold frequency, do you have photocurrent? We won't have photocurrent for frequency less than threshold frequency. In the beginning, frequency is equal to 1.5 times the threshold frequency. Yes, sir. In the beginning. So we have the photocurrent. Now, the frequency is reduced to half of its value. Then what is the new frequency? Nu dash is equal to nu by 2. That is equal to 1.5 by 2 nu naught. That is equal to how much? 0.75 into nu naught. This is less than nu naught or more than nu naught? This value is less than threshold frequency. If nu dash is less than threshold frequency, when the frequency is less than the threshold frequency, whatever may be the intensity, you won't have photocurrent. Generally, with increase in intensity, photocurrent will increases provided the incident frequency is more than the threshold frequency. Yes, sir. So here threshold frequency, the incident frequency is less than threshold frequency. Therefore, we won't have any photocurrent. Okay. Next question. 12th question you see. A 40 microfarad capacitor is connected to a 200 volt 50 hertz AC source, AC supply. The RMS value of current in the circuit is nearly. They are asking us to calculate what RMS current. IRMS is equal to what is the formula? VRMS by Z. So what is the formula we know? IRMS is equal to VRMS by Z. Okay. Look here. They have given a capacitor whose capacitance is 40 microfarad. Capacitance is given as 40 microfarad. It is connected to alternating source of 200 volt. Unless otherwise specified, the given voltage is nothing but RMS voltage. So 50 hertz. Frequency given, applied voltage is given. This is VRMS. If not specified means the given voltage is RMS voltage only. So they are asking us to calculate the IRMS. We know that IRMS is equal to VRMS by Z. What is Z here? There is no inductor, there is no resistor. It is a pure capacitive circuit. Therefore, for pure capacitive circuit, Z is nothing but capacitive reactance. Capacitive reactance is nothing but chi c. Chi c is equal to what? 1 by omega c. Chi c is equal to 1 by omega c is the formula that we are adding. Now, if I use that here, VRMS is equal to 200 divided by 1 by omega c. That is nothing but 200 into omega c. That is 200 into omega is 2 pi f into c. Yes, sir. If I use this here, what I am getting? IRMS is equal to 200 into this is 2 into 5. F is equal to 50. 2 into 50 is 100. 100 into 3.14, 314. So I can write it here. Otherwise, I can take like this. 2 into 100 into this is 2 into F is 2 into 50, that is 100. So 100 means I can take it as 10 square. Pi is there, 3.14 into C is given how much? 40 microfarad. So 40 into 10 power minus 6. So what is this value you see here? Only numericals, let us check. 2 into 4, 8. 8 into 3.14. 8 into 3.14. 8 4s are 32, 3, 8 1s are 8 and 11. 8 3s are 24 and this is what? 25. So you will be having 25.12. 25.12 is there into 10 square 10 power 4 and this is another 10 is there 10 power 5 into 10 to the power of minus 6. So 10 power minus 1. What is its value? 2.512, approximately 2.5 ampere. Let us check what is the answer given. So what is the answer given here? 2.5 ampere. So second option will be the right answer. So if you do like this, if you won't consider power, there is a chance for us to do mistake. You may opt it as 25.1. So you have to do the proper calculation here. Next, look at the next question. Which question number 13? Assume that light of wavelength 600 nanometer is coming from the star. The limit of resolution of telescope whose objective has a diameter of 2 meter is. So for the telescope, limit of resolution is nothing but the angle. For microscope, limit of resolution is the distance, but for the telescope, limit of resolution is the angle. So limit of resolution formula is what? D theta is equal to 1.22 lambda divided by capital D is the formula for limit of resolution of a telescope. So this is nothing but 1.22 into what is the wavelength they have given? 600 nanometer. 600 into 10 to the power of minus 9 divided by capital D is 2 meter diameter they have given. So using this goes here 300 times. Therefore 1.22 into 3 into 10 to the power of 2. 2 goes in 6 3 times. 100 is there 10 square. 10 square into 10 power minus 9 is 10 power minus 7. Shall I write like this? So this is 3 into this is 3.66 into 10 to the power of minus 7. Please check which is the answer given. So 3.66 into 10 to the power of minus 7 right radians is the answer. Next, 14th question is a ball is thrown vertically downward with velocity of 20 meters per second from the top of a tower. It hits the ground after some time with a velocity of 80 meters per second. The height of the tower is. So recently discussed the question please. So look here. So there is a tower. I don't know the height of the tower. But from the top of the tower a body is thrown down with velocity, initial velocity is equal to 20 meters per second. And it reaches the ground with velocity is equal to 80 meters per second. Now I know initial velocity, I know final velocity, inclusive of directions, I would take minus 20 and minus 80. They ask us to calculate the height. I know that v square minus v naught square is equal to 2a into s. Here v square means minus 80 square, minus of minus 20 square is equal to 2 into a is equal to minus g. Here g is taken as 10. So minus g minus 10. S is from here to here displacement minus h. Therefore I can take it like this. Downward direction S is equal to minus h. So this is a square minus b square formula. So a plus b into a minus b. Minus 1 whole square minus 1 whole square they will be positive. Therefore 80 plus 20 into 80 minus 20 is equal to 20 into h minus or minus again plus here. This is 100 into 60 is equal to 20h. 20 goes here 3 times. 3 into 100 is 300. So h is equal to 300 in the answer. Height of the tower is 300 meters. That will be the right answer. Next. So what is the right answer? 300 meters will be the right answer. Third option. Next question you see. A cylinder contains hydrogen gas at a pressure of 249 kilopascal and temperature 27 degrees Celsius. Its density is dash. They have given R is equal to 8.3 joule per mole per Kelvin. They have not given joule per kg per Kelvin. They have not given per mole per Kelvin. They have given. Now, how to find out the density is the question. Okay, look here. So pressure is given as 249 kilopascal. They have given temperature 27 degrees Celsius. Now, if you if you see here, we know that PV is equal to nRT is the basic formula for ideal gas equation. I want to calculate the density. So pressure into volume is equal to mass by molecular weight into RT. I can write number of moles can be written as mass by molecular weight. What is my requirement? Density. Mass by volume is density. Therefore, mass by volume is equal to density is nothing but bring this to this side. PM divided by RT. So density rho or D is equal to pressure is 249 kilopascal into 10 power 3. Molecular weight of hydrogen, they have given it as hydrogen gas. H2 molecular weight is 2 divided by R is 8.31 into 10 to the power of 3 if we make the conversion to kilogram case. Into temperature 27 degrees means how many Kelvin? 27 degrees means 300 Kelvin. Yes sir. 27 degrees Celsius is equal to 300 Kelvin. You have to add 273 for that. Then what you will be having? If you see here, rough calculation you can do. If you do this one, you will be having the answer like this. So what is this? 3 into this, first multiply this with this. Then 8 and 9, this is 498 will be having divided by 3 into 3, 9 point, this is 24 point this into this is what we are having. If you observe here, this is, let us consider this is 249, this is 498, approximately it will go 2 times. So you should get 20 points something. You see the options first we will see, then we can directly evaluate. No need of doing calculations. So what is the possible answer here? So possible answers if you see here,
so into 10 power minus 2.
Into 10 power, so minus 2 will be there. Yes, into 10 power minus 2. Yes, this 300 is there. If it goes here, it becomes 10 power minus 2. Then what is the right answer? 0.2 kg per meter cube will be the right answer. We have neglected this 100 here. When it goes here, into 10 power minus 2 will be there. So that will be the answer. Okay, 0.2 kg per meter cube will be the answer. Next, 16th question. When a uranium isotope 92 uranium 235 is bombarded with neutron, it generates 36 Kr krypton 89, 3 neutrons and dash. It is a commonly asked and commonly known board question. So we know that uranium undergoes disintegration when you bombard that with slow moving neutron or thermal neutron, giving which isotopes? 92 uranium 235 they have given, no? 235. When it is bombarded with neutron, it gives rise to barium plus krypton. Yes sir. Barium plus krypton plus 3 neutrons. This is known thing for us. Just you have to check the mass numbers. Okay. Is it clear or not? So what is the right answer here? So barium. Barium plus krypton. Intermediate mass number nucleus, barium plus krypton. So krypton 36 is there and here it is 89 and this is 144 and this is how much you will be having? 56. Let us check here. Close it, sir. See here. You check the balance equation. 235 plus 1 is 236. 144 plus 89 plus 3 into 1, that is 3. So how much you will be having? This is 4 plus 3, 7. 7 plus 9 is 16. 1 comes here. 12 plus 1 is 3. And this is 236. 236 balance. 92 plus 0 is 92. And this also you check. 56 plus 36 is 92. So, which is the correct one? 56 barium, 144 will be the correct one. Next question please. Next question you see, 17th question. 17th only, no? Okay, right. The increase in width of depletion region in a PN junction diode is due to. So if you want to increase the depletion region, you have to reverse bias it. It is a theoretical question. If you forward bias it, when the diode is forward bias, thickness of depletion region decreases. When it is reverse bias, width will increase. Generally, the width is of the order of micrometer. Next one, 18. The phase difference between displacement and acceleration of a particle in SHM is. So we know that acceleration A is equal to minus omega square x per SHM. For SHM, definition of SHM says that a simple harmonic motion is one in which the displacement is always directed towards the mean position, and acceleration and displacement are always opposite in direction. A is equal to minus omega square x. So opposite in direction means the phase difference is pi. So minus sign says that they are out of phase. So what is the phase difference? Pi is the phase difference. Next question. So the phase difference between displacement and acceleration in simple harmonic motion is pi always. Next one, 19th question. An iron rod of susceptibility 599 is subjected to a magnetizing field of 1200 ampere per meter. The permeability of the material of the rod is, permeability means mu. They have given susceptibility chi. I know that permeability, susceptibility, how they are related. So we know that relative permeability is equal to, we know that relative permeability mu r is equal to 1 plus chi. This is the formula we are having. They have given chi value. Mu r can be written as mu by mu naught. That is equal to 1 plus chi is 599. This implies mu is equal to permeability mu naught into 600. Mu naught is 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7 into 600. Is it clear? So I know that relative permeability is equal to 1 plus chi. Chi is given as 599. So mu naught is, just you bring it to this side, then what will they have? 6 into 4 is 24. 24 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7. This is the expected answer. Let us see what they have given.
Minus 5.
So into 100 is there, therefore it is 10 power minus 5. So if you see here, you can rearrange this like this: 2.4 into pi into 10 to the power of minus 4. This is the relative, this is the permeability mu. Understood this? So 10 power minus 5, I am writing it as 10 power minus 1 into 10 power minus 4. 24 into 10 power minus 1 is 2.4. So this will be the right answer, fourth option. Next, look at the 20th question. The quantities of heat required to rise the temperature of two solid copper spheres of radii R1 and R2, where R1 is equal to 1.5 times R2 through 1 Kelvin or in the ratio. Okay. So what they have asked here, there are two spheres are there. The radius of one sphere is equal to 1.5 times the radius of another sphere. There are two spheres like this. This is one sphere and this is another sphere. So radius of this is R1 and radius of this is R2. Given R1 is equal to 1.5 times radius of R2. Now I want to heat this one, I want to heat this one also by supplying the heat energy. By supplying the heat energy, I want to heat both of them. And both are made up of same material, therefore the specific heats will be same. And I want to raise the temperature of this by 1 Kelvin and raise the temperature of this one by 1 Kelvin. I know that the amount of heat required to raise the temperature is given by the formula Q is equal to Ms delta T. Both of them are same materials, so S is same. Both of them are raised to the same temperature, delta T is same. So amount of heat required is depending upon the mass of the material. But mass is equal to what? Mass is equal to density into volume. So density into volume of the sphere is what? 4 by 3 pi R cube is the formula. So into S into delta T. So if I see this formula, Q is proportional to R cube. So the amount of heat supplied is directly proportional to radius cube. So Q1 by Q2 is equal to R1 by R2 whole cube. R1 by R2 is equal to 1.5. 1.5 is 3 by 2. So I can write it as 3 by 2 whole cube. 3 by 2 whole cube is 27 divided by 8 is the answer. Please check what is the answer given. So 27 by 8 will be the right answer for this question. So R1 by R2 whole cube is there. D by whole cube is 27 by 9. Sorry, 27 by 8. Next one. 21 you see. 21st question. See the 21st question. Two bodies of mass 4 kg and 6 kg are tied to the ends of massless string. To the ends of massless string. The string passes over a pulley which is frictionless. The acceleration of the system in terms of acceleration due to gravity is okay. This close. So it is you have practiced many problems in the board NCERT book only. It's a very simple model in the pulley system case. They have given two different blocks of masses M1 and M2. They have given two different blocks of masses M1 and M2. Let us consider M1 is greater than M2. Consider. Then what is the acceleration of the system? Acceleration of the system is given by the formula M1 minus M2 divided by M1 plus M2 into no complicated problem is given here. This is the basic formula we derived. So M1 is 6, M2 is 4. 6 plus 4 into G, that is 2 divided by 10 into G, that is equal to G by 5. This will be the answer. Next. So no question will take more than 1 minute time. Next one. So 45 questions can be answered in a time less than 40 seconds. Next. Less than 45 minutes only. Next, 22. If you see, it is a standard formula which you derived. Derivation is not there in your NCERT textbook. It is out of scope of the textbook. But direct formula is there, and it is asked many number of times in the board exams in first year to write the formula for mean free path. So, what is the mean free path of a gas with molecular diameter V and number density N? That is the question. So, what is the formula for mean free path? Lambda is equal to 1 divided by root 2 into n pi d square. It is a direct formula which you need to remember. Derivation is a complete derivation is not there. Only a relative derivation. They have quantitative explanation they have given in your NCERT textbook. So 1 by root 2 n pi d square. Referring to your NCERT textbook, in the kinetic theory of gases, you will find this formula. Next, 23rd. A short electric dipole has a dipole moment of 16 into 10 to the power of minus 9 Coulomb meter. The electric potential due to the dipole at a point at a distance of 0.6 meter from the center of dipole situated on a line making an angle of 60 degrees with the dipole axis is. So they are asking us to calculate what? They are asking us to calculate the potential at some point from the midpoint of the dipole. Dipole moment is given as 16 into 10 power minus 9. Distance r is given as 0.6 meter. Look here. So if this is a dipole, minus q plus q, this is a dipole. This is the point where I need to calculate the potential. This angle is given as 60 degrees. What is the potential formula here? Potential formula here is Kp cos theta divided by r square. Kp cos theta divided by r square due to dipole at some angle. So now, according to this one, V is equal to K is 9 into 10 to the power of 9, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught value. Dipole moment is given as some 16 into 10 to the power of minus 9, and cos 60 is half divided by r is given as 0.6 meter. This is r. This distance is r, which is equal to 0.6 whole square. I can write it like this. 9 is written as 3 into 3, otherwise leave it 9 into this, and this will go off 16 into 1 by 2 divided by 0.6 into 0.6 I will write. Otherwise I will write it as 6 into 6 into 10 power minus 2. Shall I write like this or no? Now 3 goes here 3 times, 3 goes here 2 times, this 3 goes here 3 times, 2 times. So 2 goes here 8 times. 2 2s are 4, 4 goes here 2 times, 10 power minus 2 goes up, 10 power plus 2. So right answer will be 200 volt. That is the right answer. Okay. Please check what is the key answer here. So further 23rd question, right answer is 200 volt. Okay. Next one, 24. Dimensions of stress. All of you are under stress in NEET examination. That's why they ask the dimensions for the stress. So what is the stress formula? Stress is nothing but force acting per unit area. Stress is equal to what? Force acting per unit area. Force is nothing but mass into acceleration. Whose dimensions are ml t power minus 2. A dimensions are L square area. So one L will cancel m into one L will cancel. This L goes up L power minus 1. T power minus 2. So that is the answer. Next question. Question number 25. The energy required to break a bond in DNA is 10 power minus 20 joule. The value in electron volt is nearly. They have given energy in joules. They asked us to calculate in electron volt. Okay, look here. So given energy is equal to 10 power minus 20 joule. They asked the answer in electron volt. We know that 1 electron volt is equal to, which is the unit of energy, 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joules. Yes, sir. From this one joule is equal to 6.25 into 10 to the power of 18 electron volt. Bring this to this side. 1 divided by 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 value is 6.25 into 10 to the power 18 electron volt. Where we remember this? How many electrons are present in 1 coulomb of charge? 6.25 into 10 to the power 18. How you got? Q is equal to Ne formula. So 1 divided by 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 value, you have to remember it directly. 6.25 into 10 to the power 18. So now substitute here. What is the answer? Therefore E is equal to 10 to the power minus 20 into 6.25 into 10 to the power of 18 electron volt, which is nothing but 6.25 into 10 to the power of minus 2 electron volt. Please check the answer. This is 0.625 electron volt, approximately 0.6 electron volt. 0.06 electron volt. 0.06 electron volt, which is right answer. 0.06 electron volt is the right answer. Next, look at the 26th. Many times I told you this is about this kind of problem related with the number of beats. 26 you see. In a guitar, two strings A and B made of same material are slightly out of tune and produce beats of frequency 6 Hz. So they are producing how many beats? 6 beats are produced. When tension B is slightly decreased, the beat frequency increases to 7 Hz. If the frequency of A is 530 Hz, the original frequency of B is. Look here. There are two wires A and B. The frequency of wire A you take it as FA, and the frequency of wire B you take it as FB. They are producing how many beats? 6 beats they are producing in the beginning. Now, I also know that frequency is equal to 1 by 2L into root of T by mu, a standard formula. Yes, sir. Frequency, how it depends on tension. Directly proportional to square root of tension. When tension increases, frequency also decreases. Tension decreases means frequency also decreases. Now they told that the tension wire B is reduced. When the tension wire B is reduced, frequency of B reduces. If suppose, if FA is greater than FB, if FA is greater than FB, FA minus FB is greater than 0, and one more thing, if FB decreases, this difference will increase. So they told that on decreasing the tension in the wire B, what happens? The number of beats are becoming 7, so number of beats increase. So this relation is true relation. According to the given problem, FA is greater than FB. According to given problem, as FB is decreasing, this difference is increasing. Therefore, here FA is greater than FB. Therefore, what I can say? FA minus FB is equal to 6. FA given as 530 Hz. They are given 530 Hz. FB is a question mark. So FB is equal to what? 530 minus 6 is 524 Hz. So here you must be cautious. they will give two options. If I take FB greater than FA, then I will get the answer 536. They will give both options 536 and 524. But you must be careful whether FA is greater than FB or FB is greater than FA. That you can identify using the other part of the question. So in the question they have given tension in the wire B reduced, therefore frequency in the wire B reduces. When frequency reduces, they told this is increased. This is increased provided this is greater than this. Okay, next question is. Next question. The color code of a resistance is given below. The value of resistance and tolerance are respectively. So first go with the tolerance. What is the fourth band of the resistor here? Fourth band is gold. Gold there means the tolerance is 5%. Silver 10%. Gold 5%. So here 5%, 5%, 5%. Three options are there. So I have to go with another calculation here. So we know the color code BB Roy goes to Bombay. BB Roy goes to Bombay via Gateway. This is known for us. And here we know the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What is the first color? Yellow. Yellow refers to what? 4. Second color violet. Violet refers to what here? 7. After writing the first two colors, you have to multiply with 10. What is the 10th power here? Third color represents the 10th power. Third color is brown. Brown means first is black, then is brown. So it is 1. So that is equal to 470. 470 ohm. Tolerance is 5% for gold. So right answer is 470 ohm, 5%. Next. Next one. It's a good question. According to this paper, we can say it is a logical based question. The Brewster's angle IB for interface should be. So, what is Brewster's angle? We know that from Brewster's law, N is equal to what is the formula? From Brewster's law, we know that N is equal to tan theta P or mu is equal to tan theta P. Yes or no? N refers to what? Refractive index. We know that refractive index of any material is always greater than equal to 1. It never be less than 1. It is always greater than equal to 1. So as theta increases, tan theta also increases from 0 to infinity. Yes sir. Tan 45 is 1. So less than 45 if I take, its value is less than, n value becomes less than 1. So always tan theta value should be greater than tan 45. And tan 90 is equal to infinity. So n value changes from 1 to infinity. So what is the right answer now? IB should lie between 45 degrees and 90 degrees. If it is less than 45, what happens? If theta P is less than 45, let me take it as 30 degrees. Tan 30 is how much? 1 by root, which is less than 1. It is not possible. Absolute refractive index never be less than 1. It is always greater than or equal to 1. Therefore, theta P value should be greater than 45 only. Okay. So that is the right answer. Next one. Next, 29th one. The capacitance of a parabolic capacitor with air as medium is 6 microfarad. With the introduction of dielectric medium, the capacitance becomes 30 microfarad. Same numericals. Many times I asked this question, but I asked the question to calculate what is the dielectric constant of the medium. If the two numbers are given for capacitance, and they asked the dielectric constant. Direct formula to calculate the dielectric constant is C big by C small is the formula. C big by C small. Bigger number is 30, smaller number is 6. So 30 by 6 is how much? 5. But that is what? Dielectric constant. Dielectric constant means relative permittivity. But what is their question? Their question is permittivity, not relative permittivity. So we know that C air and C medium, how they are related? Look here. C medium is equal to K times C air is the formula. Yes sir. C medium is given as 30. K into C air is given as 6. This implies K is equal to 5. But K is epsilon by epsilon naught. That is equal to 5. They asked us to calculate epsilon. Epsilon is equal to 5 epsilon naught. That is 5 into 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12. That is nothing but 5 5s are 25, 2, 42, 4 and 42. Yes or no? Sorry, 44. 44.25 into 10 power minus 12. Now what is the relative answer here? So here 10 power minus 12 is there and here 44 0.44 is there. Therefore how I can write this? 0.44 into 10 to the power of minus 10. This will be the right answer. Is it clear? Next, 38th question. 38th question is saying, find the torque about the origin when a force of 3J Newton acts on a particle whose position vector is 2k meter. 2k meter, that is the question. Force is given as 3J and position vector is given as 2k. What is given here? Given force vector is equal to 3J Newton and position vector is given as 2k meter. Yes, sir. They are asking us to calculate torque. Torque basic formula R bar cross F bar. So R bar is 2k cap cross 3j cap. 2 3s are 6. K cross J I1. You know this logic, I J K. I cross J is K. J cross K is I. K cross I is J. When you go in reverse order, I cross K is minus J. K cross J is minus I. So this is 6 into minus I. So answer is minus 6I. Newton meter is the unit. That will be the right answer. Next. (31) The resistance wire connected in the left gap of a meter which balances 10 ohm resistance. In left gap there is a wire. I don't know the resistance of that wire. Let me take it as X. So in the left gap resistance X, right gap 10. So left by right is X by 10. In the right gap at a point which divides the bridge wire in the ratio 3:2. If the length of resistance is 1.5 meter, if the length of the resistance wire is 1.5 meter, then the length of 1 ohm of resistance wire is, look here. You know that left by right is equal to L by 100, which is equal to how much they have given. So in a meter which left resistance is unknown resistance, right resistance is given as 10 ohm is equal to L by 100 minus L, which is given as 3 by 2. This implies X is equal to how much you are getting. 30 by 2, that is 15 ohm. What is the length of the wire they have given? Length of the wire is given as 1.5 meter. Resistance wire length is
1.5.
the wire at whose unknown resistance is X and its length is 1.5 meter. For 1.5 meter length, the resistance is 15 ohm. For 1 meter length, what is the resistance? For 1 meter length, 15 divided by 1.5 ohm. So what is this? For 1 meter length, it is 10 ohm. Then for 1 ohm, what is the length? For 1 ohm, bring this to this side. 10 power minus 1 meter. Is it clear? So 1.0 into 10 power minus 1 meter will be the right answer. Understood this point clearly? So first you are calculating resistance of the unknown wire, which is equal to 15 meter. They have given that unknown wire length is how much? 1.5 meter. 1.5 meter length is containing 15 ohm. Then 1 meter contains 10 ohm. Then for 1 ohm, what is the length? For 1 ohm resistance, the length is, bring this to this side, 10 power minus 1 meter. Next. 32. It is a theory question. For a transistor action, which of the following statements is correct? You know that the pictorial representation of transistor, if you consider, it will be like this. So this is emitter, this is base, and this is collector. So emitter junction is to be moderate in size, base is very thin, and collector is very large in size. And it is moderately doped, this is heavily doped, and this is very lightly doped. So base is very thin and lightly doped. Base region must be very thin and lightly doped is the right answer. Next. 33. The ratio of contributions made by the electric field and magnetic field components to the intensity of electromagnetic wave is. In electromagnetic wave, electric vector and magnetic vector will be responsible for electrical energy and magnetic energy. In the capacitor chapter, you have studied about the energy density. Energy density in terms of electric field. Energy density in terms of electric field is half epsilon naught E square, and energy density in terms of magnetic field is B square divided by 2 mu naught. This is due to magnetic field and this is due to electric field. So what is this ratio now? UE divided by UV, nothing but intensity of electrical energy and magnetic energy. This is nothing but half of will go off epsilon by naught by mu naught into E by D whole square. So this is this by this is mu naught into epsilon naught. Epsilon naught divided by 1 by mu naught, that goes up. But what is this C square? Since E is equal to 1 by square root of mu naught epsilon naught. Yes or no? And we also know that E by B is nothing but C. So this is E by B is equal to what? C. Oh, sorry, this is 1 by C square. This is 1 by C square. E by B is nothing but C. So what is the answer now? 1:1 is the answer. Okay, it is a good question. Next. So otherwise, in electromagnetic wave, electrical wave, time varying electric field will produce time varying magnetic field, and time varying magnetic field will produce time varying electric field. So both are having the same contribution. Next. 34. A charged particle having drift velocity of 7.5 into 10 power minus 4 meter per second in an electric field of 3 into 10 power minus 10 volt per meter has a mobility. Mobility is nothing but mu is equal to drift velocity per unit electric field intensity. Mobility basic formula. Mobility mu is equal to drift velocity divided by electric field. How much is the drift velocity given? 7.5 into 10 power minus 4. 7.5 into 10 to the power of minus 4. And electric field intensity, how much they have given? 3 into 10 to the power of minus 10. So this goes here how many times? 2.5 into 10 to the power of 6. This is the answer. 2.5 to 10 power 6 is the right answer. First option. Next, 35 question is: a spherical conductor of radius 10 centimeter has a charge of 3.2 into 10 to the power of minus 7 coulomb. Distributed uniformly, what is the magnitude of electric field at a point 15 centimeter from the center of the sphere? From the center of the sphere. Radius given as 10, charge given as 3.2 into 10 power minus 7. There is a sphere whose radius is how much? Whose radius is 10 centimeter, that is 10 into 10 power minus 2 meter. Over this the charge is distributed. How much charge is distributed? 3.2 into 10 to the power of minus 7 coulomb is distributed. They are asking us to calculate the electric field at an outside point. At how much distance? Let us consider this as capital R. What is the distance they have asked here? 15 centimeter. So now what is electric field at an outside point formula? Electric field at an outside point is given by the formula kq by, you can write it as 15 into 15 into 10 power minus 2 minus 4 I can write. Centimeter square is there, 10 power minus 2 whole square. So now you see here, 3 goes here 3 times and it goes here 5 times. 3 goes here 5 times here. This is 5 into 5, 25. 3.2 divided by 25 into 10 to the power of 10 power minus 7 and 10 power 9 is there, 10 power 2. 10 power 2 divided by 10 power minus 4 is 10 power 6. So what is the right answer? You check 1 point something, 3.2, sorry, this you will get 0.1 something you will be getting. Now check the answer there. So if you see the answer, so this can be written as 32 divided by 25 into 10 to the power of 5. 32 by 25 is 1 point something. So 1 point something and 10 power 5 should be there. 10 power 4 is there here, 10 power 7 there, 10 power 6 there, 10 power 5 is there. So right answer is 1.28 into 10 power 5. No need of proper calculation. You can directly eliminate. You should not do all the calculations. By seeing the options, we have to go for eliminations. Next, 36. Taking into account of significant figures, what is the value of 9.99 meter minus 0.0099 meter? That is the question here. Once look here. So what is the value of 9.99 meter minus 0.0099 meter? So here you must be cautious. While subtracting, what we need to do? While subtracting or while adding, the answer is to be confined for least number of decimal places. We should not bother about significant figures. The answer should be kept for least number of decimal points. Here, after decimal point, 2 digits are there. Here, after decimal point, 1, 2, 3, 4 are there. So, final answer should contain how many decimal points? Here, only 2 there, here, 4 there. So, final answer should contain only 2 decimal points. After decimal point, there must be 2 digits. That should be the right answer. If you do this calculation, you should get the answer 1, 0, and this is 8, and this is 9. What we are having. But this is not the right answer, because after decimal point, how many digits should be there? So we should not go with the least number of significant figures. We should go with the least number of decimal point cases. Okay. During multiplication and division, the final answer. Once from here, regarding this problem, I did the key mistake. So 9.9 is the not right answer. So this is right answer is 9.9. So this will be the right answer. So myself did the key mistake. So in this final answer is 9.98. That will be the right answer. Please correct it. It is not the right answer. This is the wrong answer. Which is the right answer? 9.98 will be the right answer. Because during multiplication and division, the final answer is to be restricted for least number of significant figures. But during addition and subtraction, the final answer is to be restricted for least number of decimal places. So here least number of decimal places is 2, here 4 is there. Final answer should contain only 2 decimal places. So right answer is first option. So this is the right answer here. Please correct it. Next, 37. In Young's double slit experiment, if the separation between two coherent sources is half and the distance of the screen from the coherent source is doubled, the fringe width becomes. It's a very common question which is asked in the board exams. So fringe width beta is equal to formula lambda capital D divided by small d. Lambda capital D divided by small d. So they told that this is double and this is half. So beta is equal, beta dash is equal lambda into capital 2D divided by d by 2. That is equal to beta dash is equal to 2 goes up 4 into lambda capital D divided by small d, that is 4 beta. So increased by 4 times. So what is the right answer? Increased by 4 times will be the right answer. So right answer is 4 times it is increased. Next, 38. Two cylinders A and B of equal capacity are connected to each other via stopcock. A connected to an ideal gas at standard temperature and pressure at B is and B, not at B, and B is completely evacuated. The stopcock is suddenly opened. The process is, remember, all quick processes are adiabatic processes. Nothing to worry, directly you can answer. All quick, suppose a tire is punctured, it is a quick process. Balloon is punctured, quick process. Those are examples for adiabatic process. Next, the energy equivalent of 0.5 gram of substance is. Energy equivalent of 0.5 gram of substance is. According to Einstein's mass energy relation, E is equal to mc square is the formula. 0.5 gram, gram is 10 to the power minus 3 kilogram. C value is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 whole square is there. So this is 1 by 2 into 0.5 is 1 by 2. 10 to the power minus 3 into 9 into 10 to the power of 16 joules. 9 by 2 is 4.5. 4.5 into 10 to the power of minus 10 to the power minus 3, 10 to the power plus 16, 10 to the power 13 joules. This will be the right answer. Next question you see. So what is the right answer? 4.5 into 10 to the power 13 joules is the right answer. Next question. Question number 40. A capillary tube of radius, it is one more important question that we have seen in this paper. A capillary tube of radius r is immersed in water and water rises in it to a height of h. The mass of water in the capillary tube is 5 gram. Another capillary tube of radius 2r is immersed in water. The mass of water that will rise in the tube is, look here. Look here once. So if this is the water container and inside this a capillary tube is fixed. So now what happens by capillary action, the water will rise. The water will rise. Yes sir. The mass of this part of water I want to calculate. M is nothing but what? I want to calculate the mass. Mass is nothing but density into volume. What is the volume of this portion? Volume of this portion of cylinder is density into volume is area into height. This is height h you calculate. Area is area into height. Rho into pi r square into h. I can write it as rho into pi into r into hr. So if you see, density of water is constant, pi is constant. According to Joule's law, h into r is constant. That means less the radius of the capillary tube, more height rises. Less the radius, more height. More the radius, height is less. So radius double, height becomes half. Anyhow, h into r is a constant. So h into r is constant. So how mass is related with radius of the capillary tube now? Mass is related directly with the radius of capillary tube. So if m1 by m2 is equal to r1 by r2. Initial mass is given as 5 gram. M2 I want to find out. Initial radius R1, final radius twice the radius. Twice the initial radius. So 2 into 5 is 10. So M2 is equal to 10 gram. This is the right answer. So finally 10 gram is the second one, right answer. Next, 41. A screw gauge has a least count of 0.01 millimeter and there are 50 divisions in the circular scale. The pitch of this screw gauge is, what is the basic formula for least count? Least count is equal to pitch of the screw divided by number of vernier divisions. What is least count general definition? Least count is equal to pitch of screw. Pitch of screw divided by number of divisions on the circular scale. Number of divisions on vernier scale or circular scale you can say. Number of divisions. Least count point, how much given? 0.1 millimeter they have given a 0.01 millimeter. So let us see what is the value they have given. Screw gauge they don't, therefore it is screw gauge 0.1 millimeter they have given. Okay, look here. Pitch is the question. Number of divisions is given as 50. So from this pitch is equal to what? Pitch is equal to 50 into 0.01 mm, which is equal to 0.5 millimeter. This is the pitch of this. Okay, next question is question number 42. Look here. For the logic circuit shown, the truth table is. For the logic circuit shown, the truth table is they are asking. Look at the logic circuit, what they have given first. This is the logic circuit they have given. It is the logic circuit they have given. Okay, this is the logic circuit they have given. Now, if it is A, this is B. What this logic gate is going to represent? This is A complement, this is B complement. This is NOR gate, therefore output of NOR gate is A complement plus B complement whole complement. Now I can write it as A complement whole complement into B complement whole complement. That is nothing but AB. Y is equal to AB is nothing but output of AND gate. This is AND gate. What is the truth table for AND gate? AND gate truth table is 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. AND gate Y is equal to A into B. This is A, this is B. 0 into 0, 0, 0 into 1, 0, 1 into 0, 0, 1 into 1, 1. So this is the right truth table for the given question. So that is the fourth option. Next, 43. The average thermal energy of monoatomic gas is. What is the monoatomic gas degrees of freedom? Degrees of freedom for monoatomic gas is 3. So the average thermal energy is given by the formula. Average thermal energy is equal to F by 2 kT is the general formula. So what is the average thermal kinetic energy formula? F by 2 kT. For monoatomic, degrees of freedom is 3. Therefore, right answer is 3 by 2 kT. So direct formula. In the kinetic theory of gases, you are having direct formula. Next one. 44. The solids which have negative temperature coefficient of resistance are. So for insulators, there is a chance for having negative temperature coefficient, and even semiconductors also. With increase in temperature, resistance of semiconductor decreases while that of conductor increases. We had two questions here. One question, copper resistivity with temperature they asked. For copper, how the resistance varies with temperature, like this resistivity, what's the temperature? With increase in temperature, resistivity increases for copper. But for semiconductors, with increase in temperature, resistance decreases. Therefore, alpha is negative. Not only for semiconductors, even for insulators also the same thing will happen. Therefore, the right answer is insulators and semiconductors. 45. Two particles of mass 5 kg and 10 kg respectively are attached to the ends of a rigid rod of length 1 meter with negligible mass. The mass of the rod is negligible, they told. The center of mass of the system from 5 kg particle is nearly. See here, they have given like this. There is a rod. There is a rod like this. The mass of this rod is negligible, but length is given as how much? 1 meter is the length. Here let me take 5 kg is attached. 5 kg. Let me take it as M1. And here M2 is there, which is equal to 10 kg. Yes, sir. Let me take it as, this is M1, this is 2 times M1. Shall I write like this also? Now what is the center of mass? Let me take this as x1 is equal to 0. x2 is equal to 1 meter. So XCM formula is what? XCM is equal to M1x1 plus M2x2 divided by M1 plus M2 is the formula. Now according to that, XCM is equal to M1 into 0, x1 is 0, so this term becomes 0. M2 is 2M1, x2 is 1 divided by M1 plus 2M1, that is 3M1. M1 will cancel, 2 by 3. 2 by 3 what? Meters. In centimeter, 1 meter is 100 centimeter, 200 by 3, which is equal to approximately 67 centimeter from 5 kilograms. Is that clear? This is the answer. So 67 centimeter will be the right answer. Okay. So this is about your yesterday's NEET examination question paper.